covering the islands of the Bahamas. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Good evening, I'm Opal Rose sitting in for Keisha Adley, and this is The Bahamas Tonight. Topping the news, the upscale Bahama Resort is set to breathe new life into the Cable Beach Strip, and the tourism officials want to ensure that the tourist haven stays abuzz. That's why they're launching an aggressive campaign, tapping new markets, showing off what the Bahamas has to offer. Shanique Miller has our top story.
Bahamar is meeting every deadline set. Just last week, the resort reached the 100-foot mark of its casino tower, and resort officials maintain it's on budget and on target to open December 2014. What that will do immediately is bring 3,500 new hotel rooms on stream. In advance of the resort's opening, the Ministry of Tourism is working single-focused to ensure that the occupancy levels are always good. How? By ensuring that the world knows about Bahamar. Tourism Minister Obi Wilshcombe says his ministry is months away from launching a campaign that takes advantage of a number of lucrative markets, starting with Europe and Asia.
So we'll get the message out, and of course you know by September, we'll have reopened the office expanded the office in Europe and Asia with a Deputy Director General in place there to take over that market.
That's just the beginning. The campaign will also concentrate on the fastest growing market in the Americas, Latin America.
We're very aggressively going after Latin America, and we're putting in place two Deputy Director General and the North American market, so we're very active.
Outside of these initiatives, the government has been working on other measures as well. Wilshcombe hinted Prime Minister Christie will announce those soon. But the Minister of Tourism is pleased with the current performance of the industry. He talked about our performance year to date.
We're doing pretty good. We have to work on the fall right now, but generally we're doing all right. Our numbers are, airlift is up. We're seeing increasing airlift as well. And of course, the cruise.
Even as the Ministry of Tourism gears up for its global public relations campaign, Bahamar officials have announced plans to shut down the Wyndham temporarily. But Wilshcombe isn't too concerned about that based on what's in the pipeline.
No, in fact, it fits in well because they've been seeing a drop in occupancy levels based on fact more so because of the construction that's going on. So, you know, to be honest with you, I prefer it to be closed right now than something happening and causing issues for the people. Of course, we're always concerned with Bahamians having jobs, so we're always looking to ensure that we can place Bahamians. So 5 weeks is not a long time, given where we are, but we have some major conferences coming up for the Wyndham and the Sheraton early next year that we're going to be announcing very soon. So they're going to fix what they have to fix, move the construction along as quickly as they possibly can, and then we're going to cause for some major things to happen out there.
Covering all its bases, Wilshcombe says on a national front, the Ministry of Tourism is vamping up its crusade through social and traditional media.
We're going to have a very active IT communications division. We are putting people in place in that division right now who are going to help us get the message out. We're going to be very active using digital platform, so we'll get the message out.
At $3.6 billion, Bahamar will be the single largest investment and resort of its kind in the region. Shanique Miller, ZNS News.
And while the Ministry of Tourism is tapping new markets, efforts also continue to increase airlift. A team of hoteliers headed to the United States today to promote our islands. Among those traveling is Kurzman's President George Marcantonis. He talked about the promotional meeting with airline officials.
To the Ministry of Tourism and the promotion boards, Nassau Paradise Island Promotion Board in particular, for this very aggressive drive to increase airlift here. And I'm sure you've heard my colleagues at Bahamar say that, you know, they need 500,000 seats to come in every year over what we get now to sustain the occupancies that they're projecting. So we're not going to wait till 2014 fourth quarter. We've started now. You will read about it. You're right that we are about to leave. In fact, a team of us are leaving tomorrow, led by the Ministry of Tourism. We're going to meet with United Airlines in Chicago and then Allegiant Airlines in Las Vegas.
Still on the tourism beat, 12,000 hotel and tourism industry professionals are enrolled in a foreign language training initiative. It's called Live MOCA, and it's the world's largest provider of online language training. Bahamas Hotel Association's Executive Vice President Frank Comito talks about the significance of the program.
I'll quote from our President Stuart Bowe, "We are extremely pleased with the response, which shows how serious our employees and managers are about developing the Latin American market. This bodes well for our future as we aim to tap into one of the fastest growing markets in the world." Now, with the Live MOCA program, already the largest online training program, this program is already the largest online training program ever undertaken in the Bahamas. And I think it's quite significant, and also shows our commitment to furthering the foreign language skills of our people.
Tourism's Director General David Johnson feels the initiative is a step in the right direction.
Working with the BHA, COB, and now this island is much more Spanish friendly, Latin American friendly than ever before. But I think this is only the first plank. This is only, we were scratching the surface, we dented it, but the potential, as Frank said, we're dealing with a market of over 500 million people. We're dealing with a vastly expanded middle class. We're dealing with a market where they live, the economies are so heated that they have an inflation rate where whatever they see in the Bahamas is cheap. When you go into airports in Latin America, there's no liquor. They run out. The people are consuming. They have an appetite to spend.
Shifting gears now, another pastor is speaking up tonight on the hot topic of legalizing the numbers game. He says he's prepared to fight this battle alone. Janae Noel Ferguson has his story.
Bishop Walter Hanchel is calling on the Bahamian people to vote a resounding no to the legalization of gambling. He says if allowed, this will tear down the very fabric of our Bahamian society.
The number one cause for divorce is money. A lot of husbands are gambling the money away. A lot of wives are now gambling the family's income away. And we need to tell the truth about this. Gambling is no good. I don't care who says it's good. I don't care if the Pope says it's right. It is wrong, and we need to get to the point where we stop calling evil good and good evil, because there's a price to pay for immorality. And I'm appealing to the Bahamian people: if the referendum ever comes up, vote no. I still believe that we have more people who are not gambling in this country than those who are gambling. You might see people up and down around the web shops gambling, but we have thousands more not going to those houses, not supporting them, because all they are doing is enriching the few, and the masses of people remain poor.
Bishop Hanchel is also calling on Bahamians not to be fooled by the gifts and contributions number houses often give. He also responded to suggestions that the church should be involved and fund government projects by contributing to a special fund. Hanchel says, contrary to popular belief, churches are not a mega business.
There's this fallacy that the church has all of this money. No, the church spends all of its money, all of its resources in caring for the members, in caring for the hurting. And I believe I speak for most churches. There's a wrong impression that the churches have these millions of dollars stashed away someplace that they could do. No, some churches could just barely make ends meet every single month.
And if Bahamian people vote against the legalization of gambling, Bishop Hanchel hopes that the Prime Minister will stick to his word and enforce the law by closing down number houses. However, he predicts that the results will be surprising.
That referendum will be defeated. But Bahamians will vote no. Bahamians will shock this country and not support that referendum. And it will be defeated, and the gambling houses will be closed down, and the persons who are working in the gambling industry will work in legal businesses. And that's what I believe.
And if gambling is accepted, Bishop Hanchel says that this will allow for other vices to become accepted, like same-sex marriages.
Or same-sex unions. These things will never be accepted in the Bahamas. Never. And if you legalize one, they're going to say, might as well legalize all. Because you've set a precedence. If something is wrong and you legalize it, and I'm going to be advocating for them to overturn some of these laws on the books right now too. For example, the age of consent. It should be 18, not 16. It is wrong.
Number bosses have band together and will reportedly launch a campaign to sensitize the Bahamian people to the apparent benefits of their industry. Hansel says he will also launch a campaign of his own, highlighting what he calls the negative impact it will have. He believes at the end of the day, David will again defeat Goliath. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS News.
Well, Tourism Minister Obi Walshcombe also speaking up on the issue. He says if the people vote against gambling, the laws must be enforced.
It's asking the Bahamian people to vote. I'm one of those who've long held the view that it's hypocritical for us to be saying on the one hand that we don't believe in it, but every single day it happens, and Bahamians are doing it every single day. In every house it's identified. And so I hear the debate that's going on now, but the truth is we have to be a bit honest about what we do, and we can't send messages to this country that we're against what amounts to quote-unquote crime if we know something is illegal, but we're allowing it, we're licensing it, and we're allowing it to continue. Well, you know, I have a simple view. We either are serious about it, or let's put on the books heavy penalties that will stop people from doing it.
The tourism minister also talked about Bahamians not being able to gamble in local casinos.
We took a moral and social instinct back in the 50s and the 60s that caused for Bahamians not to be able to play in the casinos. We've lived with it quite well, and I think it speaks to our maturity as a country, and it speaks to our liberation as a nation. And people to come here and recognize that Bahamians don't make a fuss about it. We generally go about our business knowing that it's an amenity, knowing the impact it can have socially, morally, and it can have on our society, and so generally we've stayed away from it.
And still to come, communication officers head to the polls. We'll tell you why coming up.